Imagine doing PPF and not having to line anything up. That's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. So I'm going to start by using my True Spray system to do my final squeegee. And as you can see here, I've ceramic coated 90% of this fender. If you can see right here, you can see where it's beating up, and then along the edges, the water looks smooth, and you can literally tell that we've ceramic coated the fender except for about a ½ inch all the way around the perimeter of it. So I'm going to take my favorite squeegee to now do my final squeegee. Okay, so we polished it, ceramic coated it, and then we went around the perimeter with 90% alcohol and made sure that there was no ceramic coating around the perimeter. Okay, now I'm gonna wet this down, again, using my True Spray system, and this has my normal slip solution in it. Okay, so it's not super soapy. Now I've got my template over here. Right now my template is facing me, so I'm gonna put this up against the glass with the paint protection film against the glass and the liner sticking out. Okay. This matte liner doesn't release quite like the gloss does, so it might be a little bit trickier. As I pull this liner, I keep my hand on the glass and I do quick little pulls. See, that's what I was talking about right there. It's okay. Stay patient. Number one thing, don't panic no matter what. Just gonna pull this out, pull it a little bit different angle. I'm using my True Spray as a second set of hands to push that film against the glass so it doesn't fall off the glass. Now I'm gonna take my time and soak it. Now what I'm gonna come over here and do, like I said, this isn't super soapy in my True Spray system. This is just my normal slip solution. I have a spray bottle mixed up with more soap in it. And as you can see, the water's just jumping off this fender because we just ceramic coated it using G-Technic. Now I'm gonna pick it up from the bottom, which actually is the top, right? It falls right into place. I'm gonna walk backwards to eliminate as much contamination as possible. I'm gonna take my time placing it on the car. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to take my slippery solution where I've got more soap in this and wet it just a little bit more underneath there. Now, every fender that I've ever done, we start right here in the back, okay? Close to the mirror. I'm going to tack that down. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't want to move. Okay. Now look, PPF is all about asking yourself, where do you need to pull to make your problems go away? What do we mean by problems? We mean fingers. These are fingers. We want to get them pulled out. Just like if we're making a nice tight bed, you know where to pull your bed sheets to get it nice and tight. It's the same philosophy with paint protection film, except it's a little bit more challenging because it's not just a flat surface, obviously. So I've got my spray bottle that's mixed up with extra soapy solution because this fender has super distinct body lines. So we don't want to drag the film across the body lines without having a lot of slip in our solution. And like I mentioned earlier on, I ceramic coated this whole fender except for the perimeter. Now it's sliding around freely. That's what we need. That's what we want to avoid work marks, to avoid chicken skin. Okay? So again, my True Spray system has my standard slip solution in it. I like to have a spray bottle off to the side that has an extra amount of soap in it. 4 pieces like this, okay? So like I was saying, the question is, where do I pull to get my fingers out? You guys, when I ask trainees this simple question, they always have the right answer. You pull right here. But as soon as they're in the driver's seat and they're the ones doing it, you know, they get frantic and they forget to ask themselves that question. So I'm going to watch the film and I'm going to pull until it's all smooth. Now I want to pull as hard as I need to. I'm watching right there. I'm pulling as hard as I need to, which is right there, but no harder than I have to. So I'm not just pulling as hard as I possibly can. I'm pulling as hard as I need to, but no harder than I have to. And then I'm tacking to the bumper. Okay, this is all smooth through here. Now, come around here, and you can see we have another big issue. Okay, so where do I pull to get that out? Right there. As I do that, I cause another little issue, little finger right here. So I need to pull towards me and down towards my right foot. Okay, it's smooth along this wheel well, and it's smooth along this headlight. Now I can tack that down using my Trex PPF squeegee. Okay, there's a little finger right here that I just created. So I can either work this out, which is possible, with a little bit of tack solution, or because I ceramic coated this fender, I can easily, see that? Easily lift this back up without creating any work mark, use my standard slip solution that's in my True Spray system. And look, this is all still smooth. I just need to pull that out right there. Boom. Okay, so now this is smooth. This is smooth. This fender is basically done. All the hard parts of this fender are done. Okay, now we have tension lines right here. If you saw this while making your bed, where would you pull? You got it, right there. It's just a matter of slowing down and remembering to ask yourself the right questions. The right questions are, where do I pull to get my problems out? Or where do I pull to get my fingers out? Okay, now that all my problems are gone, I get to do the fun part, which is squeegeeing it out. By the time you're ready to start squeegeeing, all the hard work is done. Now with that said, there is skill to how we squeegee. Okay, so I have my fingers very close to the edge of the squeegee blade. I'm overlapping at least 50%. Now at the beginning of this video, I mentioned not having to line anything up. As you see, I'm using a hybrid template, meaning we took the template from the core cutting program and we added 2 inches all the way around. So I'm not spending any time lining anything up, like most people have to with a regular template. Now, the downside is, yes, I'm going to cut on this car. But when you get confident with cutting, this method makes everything so much easier because we don't have to worry about lining anything up. All we have to do is make the bed, so to speak, and then squeegee it out. Yes, we do have to make cuts. If you're not confident in cutting on cars, then this might not be the best technique for you. I'm doing a little relief cut right here. And then the only reason why this isn't laying down is because of all this tension right here, which is not a big deal. We just need to throw some tack solution underneath there. Just like that. And then use my squeegee to work this out. Now I'm going to go over everything and make sure I didn't accidentally miss a little bit of water, which I can guarantee you I did. If you think that you didn't miss any water, that's your first issue. You have to go into it knowing that you missed some water and then go looking for it rather than thinking, oh, I'm sure I was thorough, and then taking a moment to celebrate. So when I see soap around the edges, I'm going to take my tack solution, go around the edges, and get everything nice and tight against the edges before I make my cuts. So this is why I love these Trek squeegees from 44 Tools, is because that point and the ergonomics. Come in here so you can see me use it. So I'm lifting that up, and because it has that point and I can wrap my finger around it, I can get so detailed. And then I like to make sure everything is dry so that I can thoroughly inspect everything. A little bit of air right there. So I'm just going to take my extra soapy solution. The reason why we ceramic coat the panels now is because if we need to go back for a contaminant, or we go back for an air pocket that was maybe missed, you're way less likely to get work marks because it releases off the panel a lot easier without breaking the glue and causing a work mark. Okay, so now my goal is to literally squeegee it off bone dry. You cannot properly inspect if there's still water. See, there's a little moisture pocket. So now I'm going to use the back of this squeegee and I'm going to get a running start at it. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to start with momentum, and there it goes. Okay, now we've got the film that's bridged over the top of the headlight. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up and make a relief cut with just a tiny little bit of blade out of my knife. I like to put just a little bit of blade out so that I have very low risk of scratching the headlight. Now I can get tack solution up in there and get that nice and tight up against the headlight. Okay, and again, this is why I love these Trek squeegees, because of the way you can hold them. All right, so here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to leave the film like this and walk away, because you'll end up getting a work mark. Now, if it sits like that for a second or two, it's not the end of the world, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a little bit of blade out. I'm going to do a couple of relief cuts so that there's less tension right there. Then I'm going to take my tack solution and carefully and deliberately use the corner of that to squeegee that out. PPF is all about being extremely detail orientated because, you know, at first it's real big picture, but then once we start to get done with the panel, it's really all about the fine details, the corners, how many air pockets, how many moisture pockets, how many contaminants, how tight is it up against the edges. All those things come into play, okay? Here, again, this is a little detail. Even though this is like 99% done, just taking this film and getting it to lay down 100% is going to eliminate a work mark. And all those little details are insignificant at first, but then as you go through the project, they kind of all add up. So hopefully you guys found value in this video. If you like content like this, make sure to follow for more, and we'll see you on the next one.